if it was, remember, if it was a network path, we would assign the credentials here. Backup restore only, or we could assign the network credentials on the dashboard. So I'm going to click OK. Alright, so here we have the local storage. So remember, this is the local path that the data is going to be backed up to before it, or simultaneously backed up to online. Alright, next, so we're selecting this account. Remember, we got a trial 10 gig account here. And we can give it a plan name if we want. I'm going to call it docs underscore pics underscore music underscore hybrid. It gives it a good name. Okay. So here's a couple of settings that you want to really look into. So we have use block level backup, and if we select use block level backup, what happens is the software will do an initial full backup of your data, but the following backup, it's going to scan the online database as well as the local database. Now if you remember, we looked at the database settings under the options, and it's going to see the differences. So if you had edited different software, if you have edited different files and folders, it's going to only back up those files and folders and those differences to the online system. And that's a good way to actually cut down on how long it takes to back up, as well as the storage itself. So we're going to select use block level backup. We can back up NTFS the permissions. So if you have permissions selected on any folders that are pertaining to your Active Directory or even to your home group, you can select the backup NTFS permissions and we will back up those permissions as well. I'm not going to back them up. We can track local files and delete and backup storage. We can use a backup operator. We can use a fast NTFS scan, use system VSS provider. Now this one, we're going to use the built-in shadow copy service provider. So the volume shadow copy service provider, not the system one. We're going to use the Windows one. So we leave all that and we click next. Backup source. What do we want to back up? Remember I said we're going to back up documents, photos, and music. So I'm going to find my documents to my C drive, users, Tash. Going to select documents, music, and pictures. Alright, let me go next. Back up all files in selected folders. We can back up files of these types. So if you want to back up only certain extensions, like for instance PNGs or JPEGs or MVIs, you can select those here. Do not back up files of these types. If you don't want to back up specific types, you can add those extensions in here. Back up empty folders. Yeah, let's back up the empty folders. We can skip specific folders. We can back up files modified 14 days ago. Files will be backed up only if they have been modified more than specified days ago. Backup files modified since. Do not back up files larger than. Do not back up system and hidden files. I want to back up my system, so I'm going to untick that. Alright, the rest we're going to leave unticked. Okay. Now here's also another important page, the compression and encryption settings. So we want to enable compression because if we enable compression, we are saving space online for more versions as well as more retention. So we don't have to delete as much. And we can also enable encryption so that no one else has access to your data. And we can assign an encryption password. We can also select the encryption algorithm, and we're going to leave it as AES because that's already very powerful. And the retention policy, we're just going to use defaults. We don't want to set those up now, but remember we can come and edit this backup plan and at any point. So next, schedule. I'm going to select a schedule. I'm going to say a specific recurring date. I want it to back up once a week, let's say from Friday, and I want it to start at 9 p.m. So let's make that 21. And okay. So we can stop the plan if it runs for specific hours, run the scheduled backup immediately when the computer starts up. So if my computer is off and it was scheduled to run, and the moment I turn my PC on, it's going to run. I'm going to select that and next. So we can schedule a full backup as well, because remember we selected file level. So with the first backup will be a full backup, but the followings, they're going to be the differences only. Okay. If, however, we don't really want to do the differences only, we want to schedule a full backup in case the original becomes corrupted or whatever the case is, we can select a schedule full backup, and we can do that every, we can have a specific schedule for that, or we can do it every certain number of backups. But I'm just going to leave that off for now. And now here are what we call the backup chain or pre-post action. So we can run commands before the backup runs, and we can run a command after the backup runs. If you click on backup chain here, you can also select another backup. So if we have more than one backup plan, we can select another backup plan to run after this backup plan has run. Okay, I don't have any more, so I'm just going to leave that blank. And next, I want to receive notifications. So these are the notifications. I want to receive notifications in all cases, because if it fails or if it succeeds, I want to receive a notification. I want to generate a detailed report, and I want to add an entry into the event log as well, so that if I don't get the notifications, I can log into the PC and go into the event viewer and look at the BackupBerry logs in all cases. And next, and here's a quick review of all your settings, and you can click next, and now we can select run backup now. Let's just run this backup now. Okay. And off the backup goes. As we can see, we've got the backup, which is C uses test documents, music, and pictures. Schedule full backup, not scheduled. Block level backup occurs every week on a Friday. Compression enabled. Encryption, ransomware protection enabled. Current status running. And you can see all the details that it's running here. Okay, now if we look at the backup folder that we selected as the location, we've got a folder in here that's currently still running. The C $ uses dash documents, and it is backing everything up. It is simultaneously backing everything up into the cloud as well. So we're going to let this finish, and when we come back, we're just going to show you how to restore your data as well as access the data from the online backup system that we touched on in the second video.